So in
So I have one doubt, Andy. So
please.
now this, I mean, Power Automate is only for the .NET applications, or for any applications we can use this tool?
Any applications can be, because as
Okay.
a human it will we interact with the applications, right? Same way Power Automate desktop or any automation will interact with user interface only, like human
Okay.
does. Click on this
Okay.
button, enter the field, and
Okay.
that way we have. And if there is any API call available for that particular application, we can use that also to interact
Oh,
with an application. So
okay.
either
Okay.
ways, as a human mimicking actions or an API if that particular application supports.
Oh, okay. 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 Fine.
Yes, sir. So now we are going to discuss about Power Automate Desktop. Let me introduce the tool. So this is the top ribbon, we can
Sure.
say, where you have file, you save as option and exit, and edit to undo any action or redo any action, whichever you calls here, or copy any action, paste any action, select all, clear selection, invert selection, go to line. And this is debug more, where you can run the process right and then and there from here, or only line by line. The next action means line by line execution, or pause the execution and stop it, and to have any breakpoint or remove any breakpoint, and remove all breakpoints from all the subflows. And this is tools where you can use recorder. And if you don't have any browser extension to interact with that browser, you can install from here, add that browser extension. And this is Power Automate agent virtual desktop. We'll discuss on this later on. And this view is generally about the view how you want to have like variable section, which will show in this, and the same way UI element section, which you can find in this left bar, and images sections the same way. And default layout, there are three sections. One is action sections, the other one is the white pane, you can see we do the coding part, and the left pane, which we have all variables, UI elements, and images section. So you can change that layout how you want.
Okay.
And this is a help section where you can go to documentation and about section to see the latest version of the Power Automate. So this is about top ribbon. And the next one, as I mentioned in this right pane, you can see the actions. All actions are we use
Said
in our
your
coding.
your screen is not moving.
Okay.
Only the agenda page is there. That's it.
Oh,
Now it's
how
fine.
about now?
Yeah, now
Now
fine.
it's in agenda. So as I mentioned, we are going to discuss about Power Automate tool and their actions one by one. So this one is top ribbon, sir, where you can see
Okay.
file to save as, and edit section to do undo and redo, cut, copy, paste, all the actions, and debug to have the breakpoint or remove all breakpoints, run or entire flow or line by line. And this tool is to record. I will explain about recorder more in detail later on. And this browser extensions to interact with respect to browser. By default, when installing only, it will add all extensions to browser. If there is any extension you want to add manually, you can use this tools. And this Power Automate agent or virtual desktop preview, I will discuss more on this later on. And this view option where you can see variables, UI elements, images in this right pane. And the help is documentation, get started, and about with the Power Automate version, you can all the information. So this is about top ribbon. When it comes to the right pane actions, you can see all actions which we actually use to code or to do any business process automation. So we'll discuss each action group individually. So today we are going to discuss about variables and conditionals. So let me create a variable, the first variable. By default, there will be a name var new var, but we need to change it according to our naming standards. So if you want to create any student name, go with student name and provide any name here. So this is how you will just directly create the one. So you can click on run and see the variable was assigned with the sigma here. And this is a text value. So how it is defining? A Power Automate is a dynamic data typing. Based on the value it stores, it gives a data type for that automatically. No need for us to define what data type need to store for this particular variable. So it's a dynamic data typing. Okay. And if you want to give any number or student ID, so you can click on the first action and right click. So you will have these options. So I have used run from here. So whenever I use run from here, whichever action I'm highlighting and doing right click, I will have that option. Only the student ID I want to run. So it has run and it assigned this 1995. You can see it's assigned as a numeric value. So it's a dynamic data typing. Whatever the value which we pass, it will have that particular data type. And when it comes to truncate number, so on hover only you will have a quick introduction of what kind of that particular action does. On truncate number, get the integer or fractional digits of a numeric value or round up the value to a specified number of decimal places. So for this, I need to have a variable student marks. Let's say 605.
So that variable name should be continue name, or we can give gap also in between students and marks.
It's not. It doesn't require to be continued based on the requirement. If you are doing a business process automation, for example, reading an Excel file and looping each record from that Excel file and applying that particular records into a business application, meaning keying in. So when you have that each record, you will have each field, right? One is student name, student ID, student marks. So each field need to have a respective name. So this name should be meaningful to whichever the value it's holding.
Okay.
So whatever the value it's trying to hold, it needs to be meaningful name, so that whenever if any other developer also comes and debug or add any new step to automate, he can easily understand the existing code.
Okay.
So this names needs to be meaningful or need to be understand, and we can assume that kind of value it's going to store. Simple. So this truncate number, we need to pass the number to truncate. So I say student marks I want to truncate, and the operation is if there are three kind of operations. One is get integer part, get decimal part, get round number. So let me get integer part, and there is a variables produced, and whatever the integer part it's from the student marks, it will store in truncated value. If you want to change this particular variable, you can just click on that and change the name. And whatever the variables we are creating, it will be between percentage symbols. So it's a default framework of the Power Automate where it will So when you write any student name here, no need to put percentage because this is variable storage name. So if you click anywhere else and come back to student name, you can see percentages by default. So same way for so let me change this student marks to 550.69. So the truncate number needs to provide only integer value, which is 550. So let me run. So you can see truncate value was 550. Since I have mentioned the operation get integer part only, but when I go with the decimal part, then it will store only decimal part. And same way with roundup. So since 69 is greater than 50, it goes with 551. If it is less than 50, then it goes with 550 only. It's a general max operation. So round up at 3 decimal. Okay. So when I say round up, I have 3 decimals, meaning if there are 4 or 5 decimals, it will round up to 3 decimals. If I have, since I have 2 decimals, let me go with 1 decimal first. So that 69 needs to be changed to only 7. And if I go with 0 decimals, then it will round up generally. You can see the value 551. So this truncate number will be used whenever you have a number to get only integer or only decimal or a round up kind of thing.
Okay.
So that is the use of this truncate action. And the next one is generate random number. So you want to generate any random number between 0 to 100 or any between number like 1 to 9. That random number will be generated. Let me run from here only, and you can see the random number from 0 to 9, it's generated 4. Next time if I run, it's generated 7. So every time it will generate some random number between the figures from number and to number, it will generate between those numbers. So this generate random number need to be used in such cases to generate any random number between few numbers. Okay. And the next one is clear list. Before using clear list, we need to actually create new list and add few items into the list. Add item, say Bharat, and into the list, meaning this is the list. So instead of here, you need to provide the variable into list. The list was created in line number 6 with the name list only. Actually, should not be list. We need to change the name based on the value it's currently holding. So I didn't decide which value it's holding. So let me give all student names as an example. So here I no need to provide a percentage because this is a variable value create. Correct. Let me just click anywhere and show you this percentage was added by default. So this is variable area, the where we are typing it. So it's by default, it will add percentage. And add item to list. I just want to add Bharat to the list which I have created in line number 6, which is all student names. So I need to type all student names. Now it will throw an error saying that parameter into list expression must be a variable. So it's asking me, it's showing an error that expression must be a variable in the into list field. You see into list field. Okay. Meaning in this into list field, I didn't provide the variable it seems. And to provide the variable, this is not the variable section. It's asking to provide the into list name. So I need to explicitly add these percentages. So when we need to add this percentage, when no need to require is, it depends upon the place where we are providing that particular variable name. If it is already default variable section, it will add those percentages. If it is not the variable section, then it won't add those percentage. We need to provide it. If if not, you have this search option, select variable option, where you can just type the name, so it will filter. If not, you can just scroll with all variables and just choose the variable and select. So even if you select like that, it will add those percentages directly. But if you manually typing, then you need to provide those percentages. So now it's considered as a list and variable. You can see the differences between the variables, how it's rounded, and this one is the static value, Bharat passing value. So wherever I have the passing value, it's not the variable, meaning it's not with the percentage. The wherever, if it is a variable, then it will highlight with light blue color as a background. So that says as a variable. So while reading the code, we need to understand this is the variable, and this 1 and 9 is the static content provided to that particular action. So let me run this create new list and add list item. So you can see all student names was created and added with the item Bharat. So if I want to add another item, I just use add item to list and say Sai. And let me run from here. So you can see 2 items was added. If I want to clear this item, then I need to use clear list item. So I just need to provide the item name, which is all students, list name, which is all student names. So let me put a breakpoint here. So to put a breakpoint, you just need to click on the number, line number. Beside this, just click on this number. It will add the breakpoint. Again, on click on, it will remove the breakpoint. So I'm just adding the breakpoint by clicking on the number. So wherever you click, it will add those breakpoints. So I'm using right click, run from here. So you can see Bharat and Sai was added to the list, since these lines are already these actions are already executed, and the clear was list was holded because there is a breakpoint. So to run that particular next step, I can use run next action. If I so that it will run only this particular line. If there are other lines, it will again ask hold there to whether I need to choose run next action or run. What is the difference between run and run next action is this particular run next action will run only the next line code. That's it. Again, it will stop there. If you want to continue to the run from this line to all other lines, I need to use the run option. So as of now, it's only one action pending to run. I will just click run next action. So it has run and it cleared all items in the all students names. Okay. Any questions here, Bharat?
No, sir. Clearly, I understand.
Same way, this remove item from list, we can just provide the from list item, which is all student names, and the index. If you have the remove item by index, you need to provide the index. If it is a value, you need to provide the value. So let me choose the value, which is psi. And if the psi is more than one times, then if I want to remove all psis, then I need to use this remove all occurrences that match the specified. If it is only one psi, then based on the FIFO model, it will remove the first psi. I mean, whatever the, let me, I will explain that in detail. Let me run the code from here. You can see Bharat and Sai was added, and I'm removing Sai from the list, and only Bharat we have. And the next action is since clear, it will clear everything. And let me add another name, Kumar. Again, Sai. Now you can see Bharat, Sai, Kumar, and Sai is also added. Bharat, Sai, Kumar, and if I scroll down, you can see the last Sai. So there are two Sais. So now when I remove item from the list Sai, you see the first Sai was deleted and the last Sai was there. It's a FIFO model, first in, first out. So the first Sai was at index 1, it was removed, but the other Sai was there still. If I choose this option, enable this option, remove all items occurrences with Sai, in this case, all Sais, these two Sais will be removed from the list.
Yes.
You see, we have Bharat, Sai, Kumar, and another Sai also. I'm just running next line. So you see, it has ordered in the next line, even though there is no breakpoint. Since I have used run next item, it only run this particular item and it holded at the next action. So you can see Bharat and Kumar are there and all Sais are removed. So that is the option we have to remove all items from the occurrences. So if I go with index and I choose 1, and the list will start with the counting 0. So you see this is 0, this Sai is 1, Kumar we have 3. So now it will remove only this particular index. So which is at line number 1, Sai was removed. Now Bharat, Kumar, Sai was there. So that is the action of remove. And sort list is like sorting the list using, just let me choose the list. Sort by list items properties. When I say properties, I need to choose a first property to sort by. The name of an item property to sort the list by. Refer to the help file to. Okay. So generally sort means in alphabetical order. If there is any number first, it will add that particular item on top and then from A to Z. So this way it will sort. So let me put a breakpoint at sort and run the process and show you first how the list was there and after sorting how the list was there. So Bharat, Sai, Kumar, and Sai. So if we arrange this in alphabetical order, it should be B, K, S, S, right? So let me sort it, and you see B, K, S, S, and of course, and this shuffle list, it will generally shuffle the list in random format. So you can see after sort it's B, K, Sai, Sai, but after shuffle it has changed to Sai, sorry, Kumar first, Sai, Sai, Bharat. So for shuffle, it won't be any order, alphabetical. In general way, it will shuffle. So you will have the list and merge list. If there are two lists and you want to add both the list into one list, you will choose this merge list option. So for that, we need to create another list and a reverse list. As we see, sort list will do A to Z, and this reverse list will do from Z to A. It will reverse that list, particular list. It may be in sorted format or any other format. It will just reverse 0 to, if there are 5, 0 to 5, then it will reverse the fifth item to 0 item, and it will reverse in that way. And remove duplicate items from the list. Since I have two sides, it will remove the duplicate and it will have only one side. So whatever the
it will delete the first side, right? So first in side.
correct.
Okay.
So this one is ignore test case while searching for duplicate items, meaning the first side with small s and if the other side with capital S, even though I want to remove the duplicate, then I need to enable this. No. It should mandatory match 100%, including the case of the text. Then we need to disable it.
Okay.
I have undo the list. Let me remove duplicate items. So we have Sai, Bharat, Sai, Kumar, and Sai. And when I say remove duplicate, it's not FIFO model. It will delete the last occurrence. It's not first Sai, the last occurrence, meaning this Sai was matched with another Sai. So that particular will be removed. So all first occurrences will be there, and the second occurrences of a duplicate item will be removed. And find common list items the same way duplicates. It will provide you common list items and subtract list. If there are two lists and you want to subtract, the first list has A, B, C, D, and the other list has B, C, D. Then it will subtract that common B, C, D, and it will give A in the list. And retrieve data table column from a data table. We will discuss this when we come to a data table category. And this one is also related to JSON, convert JSONs to custom object and convert custom object to JSON. We'll discuss this about when we talk about objects. And add item, we have already discussed. And create list is the first action need to use to create any list, and add an item, or all these actions will be done on that particular list. And increase variable, this will be used whenever we have any counter, meaning if there is any loop and for example, say a counter variable is there with which starts with 1, and I want to use increases. So first I need to provide that particular variable name, which is counter, and increase by 1. So meaning this first it will just add whatever the value I provided in this increase variable. So you can see the counter was 1 right now. And when I use that increase option, it will be 2. And the same way decrease will just minus the value which we provide for the particular from the particular variable. So let's say 2. Now you can see it's changed to 1, and it's increased by 1, and it's subtracted by the 1. So the end result is 0. So these are the two options we have to increase the variable and decrease the variable. So this is all about variables, and there is data table option also, create new data table. So we'll discuss this as a separate section.
Sure.
And when it comes to conditional one, is all about conditions like if and else if and switch cases. So this one, first operand, let us provide student marks. If the student marks is greater than 500, and when we add if, automatically the end will be added, and action will be added, and between this whatever code we will add, that particular code will be execution based on this condition is true. So let me create this list, add all these items between this. So to add code between this line, you can just use the highlight the last action and drag any component. When you drag any, it will show you in which line you want to add it. So this way we need to go to particular line and drop it there, so that you can add code between that lines. Okay. So now I have a condition, I have a if loop saying that if the student marks is greater than 500, then execute code between this condition. if conditional. So let me run the code from here. So since the marks are 550, this loop was true and it went with the next line. And if the condition is false, meaning if it is, I said greater than 600, that meaning now the marks are 550, but I asked when it is greater than 600. 550 is not greater than, so it won't execute the code between this if condition. So when I run, it directly jumped off. It went to end instead of executing line number 10 to 17. And if you want to have any else condition, if this condition didn't meet, then run these steps. We can have code between this one. So it's same like any programming language, the if condition, the same rules apply here also. If the condition meets, then it will execute between code. If not, it goes to the else statement. If there is no else statement, then it will just end the condition. And same way, else if I want to add multiple conditions, like if student marks are less than or equals to 600 also, then between add code. So this way, number of else if conditions I can add, and this all depends upon the business requirement. But as of now, generally to understand how if else and will work, I'm just showing this. And the same way with switch case. So you can give student ID as an input or anything. So in switch case, first of all, you need to add the default case. For sure, it needs to have default case. If not, it won't be a the exact switch case. So there, but based on the requirement, we need to have default case. If not, just add the cases. If the student ID is equals to 195, then execute particular these steps. So we can add steps in between this. If another case, if the student ID is 2000, then execute this particular action. So this way we need to have the code. And last, default case, if it doesn't match with any case, then go with these steps. So it will work in this way. So same way, the switch rules in any programming language, it will be applied in the same way. It works in the same way. So we need to provide the case, and if this case matches with any particular case, whatever the steps in that, it will be executed. So this is about conditions. Any questions here, Bharat?
No, no, sorry.
Okay. And next we will discuss about an actual business process requirement, and so that we can understand how the flow need to be designed.
Okay.
Thank you, Bharat.
Thank you, Sagar.